Hey, it's Jeff Sauer here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you what we learned analyzing 10,103 ads running on Facebook. In this video, we're going to answer the question, what trends should you look for when it comes to advertising on Facebook in 2020 and beyond? Let's start by talking about the methodology of our study. So our study was run with 553 unique advertisers, some of the top advertisers on Facebook. These are case study and award-worthy advertisers who were so proud of their results, they defined themselves to Facebook and said, "We are the cream of the crop. We are the best of the best." Now this advertising set represents 19 different industries, and as you can see, it's a mix of small businesses and large businesses. And so we collected these ads throughout August of 2019, and these ads represent 553 advertisers. And when you boil it down, the ad samples are 56% small businesses, 44% large businesses. And to get an idea of the scope of the data we're dealing with, we analyzed 279,656 words within these advertisements. And if you're doing the math at home, that means the average ad was about 27 words. We noticed 6,169 unique headlines, 31 unique calls to action, 5,739 unique landing pages, 1,276 ads that contained URLs right in the ad text, not even waiting for the display URL to show up on the page, and so many emojis that I can hardly keep track of all of them. And so for this video, I want to show you 10 things we observed in our data set that we collected. First of all, the number one word that we saw used across all ads was the word new. New was hands down the number one word we saw. So what does this mean for us? So what's my observation on that? Well, use of words like new, now, free, more, and up, which are our top 5 words that we saw across all these ads, they're designed to sell the click and to create urgency in the ad. And so if you're an advertiser and you see this happening, or if that's the trend that's happening, basically, we want to sell the click. We want people to click on our ad or at least to engage with what we're doing here. And we know those are the common words that people use, not just in online advertising. These are words that have also been used in offline advertising for centuries as well. And the implication is simple. If you aren't using these urgency-inducing words, if you're not using these top words, then you're likely missing out because these are proven and effective words that you can use. So consider it at the very least. And of course, I can't talk about the data without providing some examples. We have screenshots of all the ads we analyzed, all 10,000 plus ads that we analyzed. And here's an example of some that use these words like new or free in the ad. Now this is very easy to pull together because so many ads use these words. In fact, it's actually harder to find a word without these buzzwords than one that does contain one of them. Observation number 2, the median ad that we captured was 11 days old. So it was running on Facebook ads for 11 days. But as you can see in our chart here, the high number of ads that we see are 0 to 5 days old. And this is more true for large advertisers than small businesses. But as you can see, a very large number of advertisers are showing ads that are less than 5 days old. So what does this mean? What is the observation here? Well, small to medium-sized businesses run their ads for longer than large advertisers. And it's most likely due to the fact that they're advertising themselves and they're not hiring an agency to do this. And so larger advertisers are most certainly working with agencies, and they are refreshing the creative all the time, nearly daily based on our observations. So what does this mean? Is this just agencies trying to justify their existence by charging more money to large advertisers? Or can small advertisers learn from this as well? Or can small advertisers learn from this as well? If you ask me, there's probably a mix of both of these factors at play, but I would definitely say refresh your creative as much as you can because that is going to get you the results you're looking for. And as a fun side note, the longest running creative that we saw was over 10 years old. So there are advertisers who have been running the same ad for over 10 years. And honestly, I just can't believe it. And I'm so proud of them and just so amazed that they are running it for that long that I give them an award for longevity. Observation number 3, image ads are more popular than video ads, but not by as large of a margin as you might think. And when you factor in how difficult it is to produce a video ad, I would say image ads are actually doing much better. And the reason why is because video is so much more expensive to produce, probably 5 to 10 times more expensive. And so when you're staggered in this direction, when you see a lot of people running videos, that means that they find it to be worthwhile and hopefully, or at least likely, they're receiving better results than if they were just doing image ads. And this makes a lot of sense because Facebook is an interrupt medium and video interrupts a lot better than images do. And the implication is that if you're a small business, you're likely missing an opportunity if you can't produce videos. And so you may want to make an investment in video production because that can lower your cost per ad. And here's an example from the ads of somebody who's running both video and image ads. Wasn't very hard to find this example either because most companies are running both. About 80% are running both videos and images. Observation number 4, Shop Now is the most common call to action button that we see, followed closely by Learn More. Now the reason for this is because our data set was heavily geared towards e-commerce, which is a very common advertiser on Facebook ads and a very common advertiser everywhere. And so because we have so much e-commerce, we see Shop Now. But it is nice to see Learn More being an option, and I was most surprised to see that a lot of advertisers just don't have a call to action button at all. So what are the implications here? Well, if 61% of call to action buttons say either Shop Now or Learn More, that means that there's two dichotomies. Those who want to sell right away, to shop now, and those who want to nurture or to build a presence or build a brand over time, and that is to Learn More. So we have both the now buyers and the patients going side by side, head to head. And so I was pretty interested to see that that was the exact way that they were distributed between Shop Now and Learn More. And here's some examples that do have the Shop Now button. This is a pretty common example that I've pulled from the data. Observation number 5, ad headlines are most often 1 to 3 words and next most often 4 to 6 words, which means that the vast majority of headlines are 6 words or less. Now this one really surprised me. I thought people would want to use more real estate. I thought they'd want to take advantage of the headline space they have. But it turns out that large advertisers, they want to put their brand name in the headline. They're really more focused on the creative experience, making sure their brand is represented or putting a video out there. They really give no precedent or no prominence to their headline at all. And so they really don't care. And so what does this mean? Well, if you're a small advertiser, it might be an advantage to have a quality headline, to actually go back old school and to write some text. Or if you're not sure about it and you want to invest in video like we talked about, or high-end custom imagery, if you can't beat them, join them. Here's some examples of headlines that are just so small because they're just saying, okay, the image speaks for itself. If you want this, come and get it. The image is what you want. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Why waste 7 or more words on the headline when it's all there in the picture? Observation number 6, ad headlines use punctuation like an end of a sentence, an exclamation, or a question about 27% of the time. And so you might think that like in SEO or like in Google search, if you ask a question, you're going to engage with people. That's simply not the case from the ad set we're looking at when it comes to Facebook advertising. Really, most people just have no punctuation at all. And in fact, anecdotally, they used emojis more often than they used punctuation, and they used sentences. And so I thought that was a little wild. Now, I did not have a great method for analyzing emojis in text. You can't do the same type of analysis as you can do a character or word count analysis, at least with an easy tool in our data set. And so I don't know exactly how many emojis were used on average and which emojis were the most popular, but I can tell you that emojis are pretty much everywhere when it comes to ads. And so the implication is that if a picture is worth 1,000 words, add emojis, and that's even more valuable because it's a little mini picture than any punctuation you could do. So here are a few examples of people who were asking questions to engage with their audience. As you can see in the one on the right, we actually have an emoji in there. Emojis, more common than questions, more common than sentences, more common than exclamation points, more common than all those items, hands down. Observation number 7, advertisers both large and small, they keep their display URLs short. Now this one really surprised me until I realized a few things. Many of these advertisers had no URL whatsoever that they were displaying, and so that counted as the 0 in the 0 to 6 characters. Also, we had URL shorteners from Facebook and from Bitly, so anything with fb.co or fb.com or fb.me were shorteners, as well as anything that had bit.ly. And so that's what gets us to where we are. It's really surprising that somebody would be spending money on advertising and not have a call to action or go to a landing page. But of course, some of these advertisers are just going after branding. They're just trying to get their presence out there, and they're not really concerned about going to the website, at least for top of funnel or beginner awareness level ads. And so that could be the reason why they don't have a call to action button. And so my observation is that even though there's no requirement to keep your URLs short, that's the trend in advertisers. Some of them aren't having any URLs at all. Some people are having Bitly's or Facebook URLs. That is the trend. It's overwhelming. Now, I'm personally not going to do that. I'm not going to have a short URL. I'm just going to have the right URL. So I'm going to buck that trend myself. I don't think my results are all that different with short URLs, and so I'm not going to follow that trend. I'm going to stick with my own way of doing things. And yeah, short URLs might sound good. That might be a trend. You could do Bitly, but consider everything around branding. Bitly isn't your brand. You don't own it. And if you redirect something or if you change your page, you have to resubmit your creative. And so all your like counts, all your comments, everything goes away. And so think about the implications of it. I use my own URL shortener, and that means that if I change things, I still own the destination URL. I still get to keep the creative out there. And so there are better ways to do it if you ask me. But if you're curious as to who does this, here's some examples of some very short URLs. We have our fb.com. We have another URL that's very short. And that's what people are doing. That's a trend that we see in advertisement. Observation number 8, much like headlines and URLs, advertisers large and small, they want to keep their ad text short and sweet. 11 to 20 words is the most common ad text length that we saw in our data set. Really surprising here. Because you know what? Perhaps I'm biased, but I just see so many ads from information marketers that are long. They're multiple paragraphs. You have to click on read more to see them. And it just goes on and on and on. And so I just thought that that was how everybody was advertising. I thought it was all long text. Turns out prevailing answer is short text. And when I say short text, when I show you an example, you're going to see how short it really is. And so while it's very easy to test things like long copy versus short copy to try these things out, you can either test it yourself, which I always recommend, or if you want to skip the line and just do what everybody else is doing, if you want to feel like the crowd, then 11 to 20 words is all that you need. And so, yes, I recommend that you test everything, but if you wanted a use case or some data behind the decision to have short copy, it's in front of you. Most people are using short copy. And here's how short it is. These are 11 to 20 words. And that means that they're barely even getting to the second line, if they're even getting to the second line at all. And so that is a prevailing trend when it comes to Facebook ads. And it's not just for one industry. It's not just for one type of advertiser. It's everywhere that we look. That's what we're seeing in the ad copy. Now, it might not surprise you, but it definitely surprises me because a lot of the ads that I've seen have that read more button, and that means that there's 100 plus words that I need to pay attention to. Observation number 9, 4 in 5 advertisers are using both videos and images for their creative. And I think that's proof alone that you should be using a mix of both images and videos, knowing that videos can be expensive and hard to pull off, but that's what people want. That's the prevailing trend that we're seeing in this data. Videos are important. Pay attention to them. And make that investment, because even if you don't think you have the money to do it, think about how much more efficient your ad spend is going to be if you have the right medium. If you have videos that get high engagement rates and low cost per impression, that can be a great way to supplement your advertising. So the implication, I can't dance around it anymore. If you ever said, hey, should I use video? I wonder if I should use video. The answer is yes. And as you can see here, most advertisers use them interchangeably. They have a pretty similar headline. They have pretty similar calls to action, pretty similar everything else, but the video is the main difference between them. And number 10, only 12% of ads that we observed had a URL in the ad text. That could be a .com link, a HTTP, a bit.ly link, whatever it is, only 12% had that link. Now, again, I follow a lot of info marketers and people who are talking about Facebook advertising, and most of them do have a URL in their ad, so I assume the number would be higher. Well, the data shows us that the average advertiser does not put URLs in their ads. And my observation is that most advertisers are not using URLs in their ads, even though I see them all the time. And the implication is that if you were to be somebody who puts the URL in the ad, just know that it's going to be more difficult to track it. It might cause some issues with attribution, might cause some issues with your analytics tools, and you might not be able to track conversions or actions. And so you can use this mostly in a branding campaign or something where you just want to get the word out there. And so here's some ads that we pulled with URLs. And as you can see here, they're putting short links in the ad, but the call to action button actually goes somewhere else or to the full URL. So hopefully they're going to the same spot. Maybe they're not, but these advertisers, they must know something, or they don't know something and they're going to a place that they can't track. And so that's several of our key observations from this research study. Now you might want to take some of these ads for a spin and look at the data yourself. Well, I have good news for you. As part of our upcoming Facebook Ads Mastery course, we are going to be giving access to all 10,000 plus ads in our library. You can observe them and see exactly what they say, what they use inside of them, examples of everything that you want to see. Lots of fun ways to slice and dice the data to see what you should put into your ads for yourself. And so if you want to take this for a spin, the only way to do it is to join our Facebook Ads Mastery course. And if you're not sure yet, let me show you what it looks like when we take the library for a spin. Okay, so here we are in our ads library. As you can see, lots of different ad examples. If you click on any example, you can see the actual ad screenshot as it was on Facebook. You can see when the ad first ran. You can see what ad text was in place. You can see what industries we're going after, the advertiser's name, basically all the fun data, everything you want to know about that particular ad. And so if you're interested in specific industries, the fun thing here is that we're going to provide you with auto filters so you can filter by your industry. So I'm just looking at sports ads, and you can go through them all. You can look for ones that have certain ad sizes. You can do all kinds of filters, and we're actually going to provide the filters for you so you can just get exactly what you're looking for. If you want short copy ads, if you want short URLs, you just want to see examples so you know that you're doing the right thing. We're going to give you the data you need to determine if you're following best practices for your industry, to see what other advertisers are doing, whether it's a competitor or an advertiser that you admire. You want to see what they're doing. We're going to give you all kinds of information in this library, and you get unlimited access if you join Facebook Ads Mastery. So I'm going to end the preview there, but I just wanted to show you that we do have all 10,000 ads at your disposal. If you want to see individual examples, if you want to see the results, you're going to love the ads library. Okay, so that's all for our video. And to summarize our Facebook ads research, we analyzed 10,103 Facebook ads from 553 companies across 19 industries. And these advertisers were nearly an equal mix between small and large advertisers, small and large businesses running ads on Facebook. If you're unsure about video and image ads are nearly neck and neck as far as adoption goes and how many people are using them. And so you definitely need to use video, or you want to at least introduce that to your mix. When it comes to advertising, both your headline, your ad copy, even the URL you display, brief is the name of the game. Everybody's going short. They're going for brevity. They're making it as short as possible. They want to be seen and not heard. They want the image to shine. They want the video to pop up and grab attention. They don't really care about the words. At least that's the common trend we're seeing across our advertising set. And yes, I know that I teased the library. It's really cool. If you want confidence that you're writing ads that are world-class, if you want to see what others are doing, if you want to have answers to your question with a number of filters, a number of ways to observe the data, to see different types of ads, and to have a data-driven and data-backed, research-backed way to say this is the best ad for our business, this is the best way of going forward, we've done all the heavy lifting for you. It was really difficult to pull together all these ads, but now that it's done, now that we have our research, now that we have the library, I can't wait to show it to you, and I can't wait for you to tell me about how you found the data you needed to become a better advertiser on Facebook ads.